Hi, everyone, and welcome to Val Talks Pets, the forum for pet parents and enthusiasts alike. Having been in the pet industry for over 10 years now, I'm going to share with you issues and questions that arise as I work with pet parents on a day-to-day basis. I am not a veterinarian, but I do have certifications in canine, feline, small animal, fish and herptile, and avian health and nutrition from the University of California, Davis Extension. Hi, everyone. In this episode of Val Talks Pets, I'll uncover the story behind common dog myths. There are quite a lot of misconceptions about dogs to start with, so having our heads filled with what could be nonsense is not helpful at all. So let's dive right into these myths and separate fact from fiction. We'll start with tail wagging. People usually see a dog with a wagging tail and assume the dog is friendly and happy. Tail wagging is a super common behavior we see in dogs, and the interesting thing is, scientists do not know why dogs wag their tails more than any other canines. An article by Jude Coleman in Science News Explorers has Emily Bray, an expert in canine cognition at the University of Tucson, stating, "Wagging also means different things depending on how the tail wags. For instance, a dog might wag its tail more to the right. That typically means the dog is interested or wants to approach something. A wag more to the left could signal uncertainty or mean the dog wants to back away. A wag low and near the legs is a sign of submission or fear. Other dogs can understand and react to these different wags. One question mentioned is whether the dog even knows it is wagging its tail. It is also speculated that dogs may have learned wagging to communicate with humans. It could be related to rhythm. Wagging side to side can be rhythmic for a human. Who knows? So yes, dogs primarily wag their tails to communicate with humans, but also with other dogs. They do wag when they are happy, but not always. So keep an eye on that tail. It may just be trying to tell you something else. Let's go in the direction of some health misconceptions now. First, a dog's nose that is dry means he is sick. According to dailypaws.com, a dry nose the majority of the time is completely normal. However, it does indicate that the dog may not be as hydrated as needed and can indicate signs of a fever. According to petful.com, when your dog sleeps, they stop licking at their nose. This stops the constant flow of moisture to the nasal area. Within 10 minutes after your dog wakes up, that nose should be right back to its usual wet self. Petful.com also points out a really good thing to look at, and that is that one of the biggest causes of the dry nose in dogs is a problem with plastic, such as plastic food bowls and water bowls. Nearly half of dogs are said to have some form of allergic reaction to plastic. The other culprits for dry nose could be allergies, lying too close to a heat source, or a sunburned nose. So remember that doggy sunblock. A dry nose can indicate some issues, but most times it's nothing to worry about. How about dogs eating grass when they are sick or to make themselves sick? Well, according to vetsnow.com, eating grass is fairly common and in most cases nothing to worry about. Dogs may eat grass because they are bored or they like the taste or something ancestral kicks in. Some dogs will eat grass and then throw up, but a small study on this behavior showed that very few dogs, 8% out of 1,500, showed any signs of illness before eating the grass, and only 22% threw up after eating the grass. It's hard to know because I have seen Tundra eat grass but not throw up. But I've had dogs in the past that if they were to be seen eating grass, I knew for sure they were going to throw up. Generally speaking, grass eating isn't a real concern, but it should be if the grass has had pesticides put on it. Vets now suggest that you should be concerned about grass eating if the dog is eating grass excessively, being sick repeatedly, not eating their food, or are lethargic or generally off color. Dogs can heal themselves by licking wounds. This one is interesting because one of the most annoying things is your dog licking a wound, and in most instances, making it worse. Well, according to akc.org, as unlikely as it sounds, evidence suggests that dog saliva has some antibacterial and antimicrobial properties. Dog saliva is even slightly bactericidal against E. coli and against Streptococcus canis, which is passed from companion animals to humans. In addition, a dog's tongue is good at loosening dirt from a wound. However, the key word in this research is slightly. Modern medicine has far surpassed saliva in terms of effectiveness as wound healing. The bottom line on this one is that although there are some slight benefits to a dog licking its wound, in the long run, they could add more bacteria and inhibit healing. We have this with Tundra right now. He had a growth removed from his back leg and promptly went outside and broke the stitches. He's been licking it and it won't heal. I've got it bandaged to prevent this and to get it healing. But if he keeps licking it, it won't heal. And how about hearing that dogs' mouths are cleaner than humans? The answer to that one is no. According to BusinessInsider.com, the comparison, however, is not exactly fair. Germs that dogs have in their mouths are not quite the same as humans. If your dog licks you, you won't get a cold or the flu, but you could if a person kisses you. Dogs have lots of different dental bacteria, and in the scheme of things, they are pretty yucky. Plus, dogs lick their bums and eat kitty litter, so the transfer of fecal matter through the mouth to you can happen, which can open the risk for disease and bacteria. As well, dogs that eat raw should not be encouraged to lick a person due to the salmonella. Okay, let's switch gears a bit and look at this one. Have you been told, or always thought, that a female dog should be allowed a litter before spaying? Here is the blunt lowdown on this as stated by vethelpdirect.com. It is a very common misconception that a female dog should have one litter before being spayed. Not only is it an outdated concept with no evidence to support that breeding a litter is either physically or psychologically beneficial to a dog. As Vet Help Direct further qualifies, unlike us humans, our pets don't harbor the emotional tendencies that we may have towards forming a family unit and having children. Any concerns over whether a dog will miss being able to have puppies once spayed, or that she won't be fully mature until she's had a litter, are inappropriate and unfounded. And it follows then the belief that a female dog should have one heat before spaying. According to ParliamentAnimalHospital.com, getting your dog spayed before her first heat cycle can help prevent ovarian and uterine cancer, as well as other reproductive problems. The doctor's advice is clear. Spay your dog before their first heat. It's simpler for them and the surgery is easier. When dogs have puppies, it adds to the pet overpopulation issue right away. This is a decision that needs to be taken up with your vet, not decided upon just because it was heard that this is what you should do. Here is a good one to discuss. Some breeds of dogs are hypoallergenic. Well, guess what? No dog is 100% hypoallergenic. You can get a dog that is less allergenic, but not hypoallergenic. People can be allergic to hair, fur, skin cells, and saliva of a dog. The idea that a dog that doesn't shed is hypoallergenic is a myth. Busted! Here is a fun fact from the American Kennel Club. In 2011, the American Journal of Rhinology and Allergy published a study that found no major differences in the levels of the primary dog allergen Canis familiaris, CAN-F1, in homes with dogs labeled as hypoallergenic compared with those that weren't. While the study authors state that there is a need for more research to confirm these findings, the results threw a wrench in most allergy sufferers' plans. The results of a further study in 2012 found that low-shedding poodles had some of the highest levels of CAN-F1 present in their coat samples. Surprisingly, Labrador retrievers, often regarded as a breed more likely to trigger allergies because of their excessive shedding, had significantly lower allergen levels. This study also found no major difference in the amount of CAN-F1 found in the air with homes with hypoallergenic and other dog breeds. Well, I keep saying, especially with the constant crossbreeding of poodles to everything under the sun, you have absolutely no guarantee that the resulting dog will be in any way a lesser allergenic dog. The whole wrecking of the poodle breed is for nothing. Some purebred dogs are less allergenic, and I mean purebred, registered with the country's accredited dog registration for purebreds, not someone who says their dog is a purebred. Papers are mandatory here. Yorkshire Terriers, Bichon Frise, Maltese, and Schnauzers are examples considered to be lesser allergenic. Moving on, how about 1 year of a dog's life is equal to 7 years of a human? Well, according to a study in Cell Systems, scientists say that calculation is wrong. Dogs are much older than we think, and researchers devised a more accurate formula to calculate a dog's age based on the chemical changes in the DNA as organisms grow old. All kinds of factors will influence a dog's lifespan: large, small, breed, health, etc. As an all-round calculation, dogtagart.com offers year 1 of a puppy's life is equivalent to a human teenager, approximately a 13-year-old. Year 2 is equivalent to a young adult, approximately 22 years old. Each year after that is equivalent to approximately 4 human years. This next myth is believed by many people, and it can put your dog's life at risk. The myth: all dogs automatically know how to swim. Well, not exactly. Certain breeds of dogs have an affinity to water, while other breeds can be quite fearful of it. According to NJDog.com, unsurprisingly, Many smaller dog breeds with short legs and less athletic builds have a greater fear of water and may not swim at all. Some of these breeds that struggle with swimming include corgis, pugs, bull terriers, basset hounds, shih tzus, boxers, bulldogs, and dachshunds. Brachycephalic dogs are particularly more cautious towards water because their faces being pushed in means the water can easily submerge their face or go up their nose, and drowning is a real possibility. Dogs like a bulldog have such a large barrel-shaped bodies that create a real challenge for them to float. Take labs, for example, who are DNA-driven to swim, so to speak, are more shaped to swim with their longer bodies and longer legs. Many dogs, whether they are breed known for swimming or not, may need encouragement to learn to swim. On Facebook, I follow Good Boy, Ollie, and Tato out of the UK. Ollie is a chocolate lab that swims like a gliding fish, but his yellow lab brother pup, Tato, had real trepidation going into the water for the first time. I saw in the video posted that Tato and Ollie were at a swimming pool meant for dogs with a swim coach in the pool, helping Tato to learn to enter the water and eventually swim. I don't think in a million years we would get Tundra in a pool or lake to swim. He would just look at us with disdain with that huskies do not swim look. But I've heard of some huskies that love to jump in the water. But either way, you need to be very cautious and make sure you teach your dog to swim. Do not rely on the old myth that dogs naturally know how to swim. You may just end up with a sad situation on your hands. I strongly suggest a life jacket, especially for those dogs, but also for big dogs, even if they are great swimmers. I'll give you a reason behind this. One day, a person came in and saw the life jackets for dogs, and the first thing he said was, "Don't dogs know how to swim?" Haha, the myth. Well, say you have a dog that swims well, and you take him out on a boat, and you are quite a ways from shore, and the dog sees something or gets spooked and jumps in the water. If the dog has not been trained to stay with the boat, the dog's instinct will be to swim to shore. You may be doing everything to get the dog, but say he's now scared and disoriented. He will swim valiantly towards the shore he sees, tires, and drowns. So it is best to be proactive and to be prepared to introduce your dog to swimming. And I think about a life jacket because not all dogs naturally swim. I thought that people with common sense wouldn't buy into this next myth, but the other day I had some owners tell me they were having their Samoyed shaved for the summer to keep him cool. I was gobsmacked. Let's just clear this one up. You cannot shave a dog, or cat for that matter, because you think they are too hot. According to vetster.com, contrary to popular belief, it's not true that pets need to be specially trimmed for the summer. There's a widespread myth that dogs and some long-haired cats should be given a summer trim, but that's not the case. Unnecessarily trimming or shaving your pet's fur can interfere with their body's natural ability to cool itself. So now you know the dog's undercoat is there for warmth and cooling. Yes, furry dogs do have to be managed a bit more when it is hot, but shaving them is not the answer. Cooling mats or vests are great. Cool water in several places and shade, or inside with air conditioning, is the answer. Next myth. Human food is okay for dogs. Thank goodness that people are much more aware now of the food that is toxic to dogs. In my episode on safety for pets, I deal with this issue. we have to be careful concerning the food dogs can get into and also what we give them. In alphabetical order, beware of alcohol, apple seeds, apricot pits, avocados, cherry pits, chocolate, candy, chives, coffee, garlic, grapes, gum, hops used in home beer brewing, macadamia nuts, moldy foods, mushroom plants, mustard seeds, onion, powder and flakes, peach pits, potato leaves and stems, the green parts, raisins, rhubarb leaves, salt, tea because it contains caffeine, tomato leaves and stems, walnuts, xylitol, which is an artificial sweetener that is very toxic to dogs, and yeast dough. And this isn't a comprehensive list, so do some thorough homework. Well, these are quite a few myths that deserve to be debunked. A lot of myths just come from old ways of thinking. Luckily, we are always learning and finding new information that helps us keep our pets safe and healthy. So next time you think your dog is too old to learn a new trick, or that cats are a dog's mortal enemy, take a pause and ask yourself, is this just a myth? It might just be. So do some digging and a bit of research, because as I say, knowing is caring.
Thank you for listening to Val Talks Pets. Please remember to follow or subscribe to ensure that you never miss an episode. To really help the show and to make it easier for others to find, please rate and review each episode that you find interesting and helpful. And don't forget that you can also email me at val@valtalkspets.com with topics you would like me to address or with any questions you may have. Also, check out my website at valtalkspets.com and let me know what you think and how we can improve upon it. Thanks for caring.